We're here at the 2023 National Senior Games, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. There's over 20, I think, medal sports, and of course some of those sports like track and field might have 10 or 12 different events within that. So over 11,500 athletes, and this is track and field, and some really great athletes doing things like the disc, high jump, shot put, pole vault, all different running races. Great athletes, great event.
I'm Sue Flanagan. This is my dad, George Freeman, 92-year-old. We're here at the National Senior Games in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. This is my dad's 27th National Senior Games. He and one other person have been in every one of the National Senior Games. So we're super proud of Dad. And Dad, I just have some questions for you, okay?
Sure.
All right, so let's just go with what everyone's been asking. Why are you into this thing here at the National Senior Games? What has inspired you or motivated you to keep on plugging year after year?
Well, my father never did run a marathon, but he certainly, I think I was like 8 or 9 years old at the time, he mentioned the fact that he'd like to run in the Boston Marathon, and he never did, but because of his job, he was busy all his life. But anyway, he was, I think, the fitness part of the family. I think he had a lot to do with it, because there were 5 boys and 2 girls in my immediate family, and I'm the only one that was a runner. And I'm the only boy, well, I'm the only one other than my younger sister that's still alive. So I think long distance running had a lot to do with longevity. But to get started, my dad mentioning the fact that he wanted to be in the Boston Marathon put a key in my head, and I immediately said, when I grow up, that's what I want to do, is run in the Boston Marathon. And the first marathon I ever ran, I qualified for it. The second marathon I ran was the Boston Marathon. And I got such a big kick out of it that I continued to run. I've run 27 of them, 27 marathons.
Gosh, you're kidding.
No, and 5 of them were in the Boston Marathon.
That's amazing.
So here's a good story. Tell everybody about growing up. How somebody asked you in your family, when are you going to grow up?
Oh, yeah, God. Yeah. Well, it was a relative. And I told, just in chatting, probably a family party or something, I don't know. But anyway, I said, I'm going to run tomorrow with Susie in the Boston Marathon. And she said to me, and it killed me, it hurt my feelings a lot. She says, when are you going to grow up? It's a terrible thing to say, especially for somebody that ran as much as I did.
Yeah.
So I guess I got to thinking about it later. I said, I hope I never grow up. I hope I can still stay at an even keel, and in a race, I've got maybe a minute or something better at the start than an opponent. And I've often felt that way. That's probably one reason, because you're all in 5-year age groups now.
Right.
And you figure, well, maybe I can beat 4 guys my age. So that kept me going too.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Did that answer the question?
answered the questions.
Thank you very much.
So here's another question. You had 4 kids in 5 years,
Yeah, we did.
right? So how did you raise those kids? Like you say, exercise is a habit.
Yeah.
What was the grounding force with you and Mom raising that family, which included me?
Well, to begin with, we were a total family. I was a school teacher, and I was home for every dinner.
Yeah.
And so on a Sunday, if there was a race around, you guys joined us.
What do we do first before the race on Sunday?
Go swimming?
Go to church.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, go to church. Yeah.
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 And did that help raise the family, having that consistent faith and family and fun?
Well, frankly speaking, it helped me personally and the family too. I met I met my wife at a St. Patrick's Day party in a Hibernian club in Rochester, New York, with the greatest pickup line you've ever heard. You're happily married, right?
Yes.
Okay. If something happened, the best pickup line ever. I saw this woman coming towards me. She had beautiful eyes. And I said, God, I'd like to meet her. So I walked up to her and I said, you know how to get from here to Batavia, New York? She said, oh, yes. That's where I live, Batavia. So she told me exactly all about it.
What you knew.
Yeah.
And we went to have a cup of coffee, and I found out that I was going to college at the time with two of her sisters, which helped a lot. But she said, come on up, like on a Sunday, and meet the family. So I did, knocked on the door, walked in, and here's a whole family, like 13 people. And there's one of her sisters and a brother. Really helped me along a lot. You know, I was a little bit scared. I was in love right away, I think. But I was a little bit nervous. And those two people really helped me through a lot.
But what was your line?
Okay, the line was this. When I met the mother, the family wasn't there. It was the night before, I think. But I met the mother, and I says, my name is George Freeman. I shook her hand. First time I ever saw her. I says, the name George, I says, I'm named after my uncle, who's a Catholic priest. Wow!
Get that door open.
Yeah, I was 3/4 of the way home. Yeah. So that's the story.
Right. So that's the story. And I too have been, well, actually, yesterday when I was running that race, the 400 meter, which I hadn't trained for, and I just said, Jesus, help me through this. Were you praying today over there on that far side of the track?
Well, I was praying I didn't fall down.
We all were praying that, Dad.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it really does help to have that faith that sustains you when things get tough, but also, you know, to thank God for bringing Mom into your life and, you know, having the time we had this week here in the senior games, right?
Yeah.
Such a gift.
Yeah.
This thing called life.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And Dad's really, he's in a senior living situation now, and his girlfriend is, I don't know, is she Methodist? I don't know, whatever her, but they have a non-denominational service.
Yeah.
That Karen brings you to that.
Yeah, it's a Wednesday.
And then you go to Mass on Tuesday.
Well, she doesn't come with me.
No, but you do that on your own.
Yeah.
So you're...
Tuesday night.
Yeah, I've been to a lot of non-denominational, like Grace Community Church out in Panorama City, John MacArthur. And
Dad said the sermons are really good.
Yeah, they're all ministers. So
I love it.
they don't get the same guy every week, but they have a different ministry.
Oh, fantastic.
Wow.
Those guys are great.
Yeah.
They're interesting, motivational, really.
Well, Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life. And he said, no one comes to the Father but through me, so there's no plan B.
There is no plan B. That's for sure. You gotta, you know, I don't even know how people go to funerals without faith. It's just so devastating, really. If there's no belief after life, then what is there?
Really.
That's the plan.
And the Bible's so clear when you read it, and you read what Jesus did and said in circumstances, you just can't hardly come to any other conclusion that this is a divine God, you know, God himself in human flesh.
And I always say, you know, it is the best-selling book, and it's been the best-selling book, the Bible. How is that possible? All of technology, everything that's changed, but there's one book that keeps being the top thing to read, and it's the Bible, which is, there is no other way.
And we try and encourage people to just get in there and read it.
Yeah.
Pray that God will reveal himself to them.
Right.
Imagine jumping out of an airplane, God was with you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, I had a few crazy experiences that I'm glad he was with me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be here now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm so glad that we met you, John, because I was so worried when you were running, and John's like, I'll pray with you.
Yeah.
So it worked. Yay, you're safe.
We said some prayers for you.
We sure did. There was a lot of people. And also for Roy, too, that he was 100 years old, and
Oh my
he
God.
finished, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anything else you want to say to those people out there that will watch you?
Well, like I said before, I think that exercise is a habit. It's a habit, and if you have it, you're going to be in good shape. It might prolong your life. It'll even help you mentally a lot of times.
Yes. Totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're an example of that, of the whole redefining aging that we promote around the country. You might be the poster child.
Because he's never going to grow up, so.
And that's a good thing.
So that's a good thing. That's the goal. Don't grow up.
And you've inspired, obviously, your daughter's here doing the same thing. What events did you do? You said you did
I just
400.
did the 400 meter.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was qualified for bowling with my partner, but I've got to get back to Michigan. My husband's turning 67, and it's our anniversary, our 37th
gosh.
anniversary. So
Oh, congratulations.
Dad's going to be here with his friend Karen, and they're going to bowl.
I got one more story
Okay.
about her.
Okay.
She's a high school senior. She's a captain of the basketball team. She's the tallest girl in the school. They lost their first 2 games. Right out of nowhere, the coach pulled her out, put her on the bench. And she said, "What'd you do that for?" He said, "You're not aggressive enough." So he put her back in the game, and they won the next 12 games.
She got aggressive.
I did.
got aggressive.
I didn't want to ride the bench the whole time.
I love it.
Oh, I love the story too. I've probably told it 100 times.
100 times, yeah.
Sometimes you have to be a little aggressive.
Exactly. Yeah.
God bless you too. It's inspiring and helps us just to listen to stories like this, and we
Yeah.
hope it inspires others.
It does. It inspires us, and I look forward to looking at redefining aging on the internet, right?
Yes.
Okay, we'll
Yes.
look it up.
Redefiningaging.us.
.us. Okay.
You
God
go to a lot of the senior games?
Yeah, we do all of Tennessee, Florida, and we go to the Huntsman in
Oh, yeah.
Utah. In
Yeah.
Utah.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah. Good.
It's quite a game.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, God bless you both.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You too, Jen.
Yeah.
We want to thank you for watching RedefiningAging.us. I'm John Disterdick, your host. And our goal for the series is pretty simple. We just want to enhance the quality of people's lives. So if you know of an event that you think would be one for good for us to cover, please fill out the form on our website, and not only the event and what it is, where it is, when it is, and if there's a person you know that you think would be a good person for us to do a testimony on in some event, please let us know. And if you want a fuller description of my testimony, you can either go to johndisterdick.com and look under ministry, or you can go here at redefiningaging.us. We appreciate your viewership. God bless, and hope to see you on more shows.